Bradley Manning, of course, got convicted on 19 of 21 counts, including 5 counts of espionage, which is insanity. He, of course, claims that he is a whistleblower and that there was no damage done to national security. Well, often we would hear from his detractors, my God, the damage that he did. And often we would hear from government officials saying, oh, he put lives in danger, the guys that are out there in the field. You think maybe you should have known about what the government was actually up to in Iraq and Afghanistan? No, you shouldn't have known that because he revealed too much information and there were names in there and God, the damage that was done. Okay, well, we're in the sentencing phase now. He can get 136 years, so let's bring up some witnesses and see what happens. First of all, Courthouse News Service, Adam Klossfeld wrote about this. He made a good point. He said, 3 years of journalistic scrutiny into the effects of the leaks could not uncover a case of an intelligence source who was killed or injured because of the disclosures. So 3 years of the press looking into it, not a single case. Okay, wait. They're going to bring on a witness, though, and this is now retired Brigadier General Robert Carr, and he led the investigation into the damage that Manning had done. In fact, the Daily Beast called him the general gunning for WikiLeaks, and that he was a fitting adversary for Julian Assange. So the general got up there and testified. Well, here's what happened. The military's position took another hit Wednesday, the article explains, as the former Brigadier General who headed the Information Review Task Force investigating the leaks said that he had never heard that a source named in the Afghan war logs was killed. Never. The guy who was going to get Assange and WikiLeaks and Bradley Manning, the damage that they did. And his conclusion was he had never heard of any damage. Well, let's go above his head. How about the former Defense Secretary, Secretary of Defense, Robert Gates? What did he say? He said, the rhetoric about the supposed harm caused by the leaks was fairly significantly overwrought. Well, that's the Secretary of Defense and the former retired Brigadier General who was in charge of the investigation on damage, both saying, nobody was damaged. The guy faces 136 years in prison. 5 counts of the Espionage Act he was convicted of. Finally, we go to John Kirchhofer, and he's very relevant because he's a former Defense Intelligence Agency senior staffer that was working very closely with Brigadier General Carr. He said, when asked about the damage, he also couldn't name a single case where any American was damaged, but said that when he went to go talk to NATO allies who were a little upset about some of the diplomatic cables that were revealed, quote, he said, the reaction included some unpleasant comments directed at me and at the U.S. Oh, I didn't know that. You got some unpleasant comments? Well, then by all means, give the guy 136 years in prison. So they bring the full might of the United States government against this guy. A guy who, by everyone's admission, revealed information that the American people did not know and should have known about what their government was doing, including possibly war crimes of attacking first responders, reporters, civilians, covering up the number of civilians that have been killed in those wars. And the best you got for the damage he did was, my feelings were hurt. I got some unpleasant comments from allies. The guys at HSBC who money laundered for Al-Qaeda, for Iran, and for Mexican drug lords got no time in prison. Bradley Manning, because he caused some unpleasant comments, faces 136 years in prison. Now, gee, I wonder why Edward Snowden doesn't turn himself into U.S. justice system. I can't quite figure it out.